Welcome back, everybody. So today, of course, final day here at Norway Chess, round number 9, and I'm playing with the white piece against Fabiano. Now, obviously, today there are only a couple of games that really are important, I guess you could say, towards the standings. Basically, Wesley's game against Gukesh and my game against Fabiano. Pretty much everything else is irrelevant. Wesley's game against Gukesh looks pretty normal. Standard queen's game decline. We'll see what Wesley intends. I think Gukesh might have surprised by playing the c5 variation. Wesley's going to look for some small advantage in some line, or probably make a draw, one of the two options. But that's pretty early. Now, as far as my game, of course, I'm going to wax poetic a little bit, I guess you could say, or be a little bit of a philosopher here. So what I'm playing today is something that I've not played in a very, very long time, over 14 plus years since I played this bishop d3 line against Joshua Friedel in the final round of the 2009 U.S. Championship. That, of course, a very sort of, I guess, memorable and important moment in my chess career for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was the first year that the U.S. Championship was held in St. Louis. It was the first event, major event that Rex Singfield was sponsoring at the time. And in the final round, there were two players tied for first. There was myself alongside Bobby Hess, Grandmaster Robert Hess, of course, the famous guy. You know, you can't spell chess without Hess, who maybe is doing commentary today. That would be kind of funny. But we're both tied for first place going to the last round, and in the final round I had the white pieces against Josh Friedel, and Robert, I believe, had the white pieces, or maybe it was a black piece. I think it was against Yuri Shulman, if I remember correctly. At any rate, Robert would draw his game. I won a very nice game in relatively short fashion to become the U.S. champion. So it's very memorable because of the fact that it was first tournament in St. Louis. Also, it's very memorable for me personally because when I look back on that tournament, many players who are playing here have played in St. Louis. They would be able to relate to this. But this was before there had been this establishment, I guess you could say. There weren't really the hotels, these accommodations. And so I was actually staying downtown in St. Louis. And I remember a longtime trainer who's here with me right now, Chris Littlejohn. He basically brought his desktop from or the tower from Dallas, Texas. He drove in a rental car all the way to St. Louis. We were staying at the Hilton in the downtown area, and I remember going to the last round. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do, and at that point, I basically before going to the final round, I went to bed relatively early, I would say, and I told Chris just find something in e4, e5. And this is actually what he came up with. He came up with the idea based off of one game that was played by Morozevich before, but certainly after I played that game, this whole variation became very prominent and it's considered a main line. So I'm really excited to be able to play it after so many years. I would also blend it together with another thing that I wanted to say yesterday, which is on the rest day, we went to this island, Fjordfjord, or however you pronounce it. I'm not going to pretend to be Ariantari with his pronunciation, but there was a picture that I took with Shakra there, and you know, it's one of these things where at the end of the day, when you play all these different tournaments, you know, you compete against these guys over and over and over, years and years go by, but it's all sort of like, it all sort of blends together. And I was thinking, like, whether it's U.S. Championship, whether it's Shakra, it's many years. Like, we all are sort of have the same lifestyle. We all end up spending time together, and so it becomes very nostalgic at a certain point as well. So we're going to see what happens in my game today. It's obviously different from my game against Friedel, but thus far at least I feel pretty good. I have a feeling we're probably going to blitz out another 10 plus moves, which is why I don't mind standing here and wasting 5 to 10 minutes of my time, since I assume Fabiano probably moved pretty quickly, but we will see. I'll be back later.